Okay, hi. Okay, hi. Welcome to my live session, right? My online live session on the power of model drawing. So hopefully I've done the 4 questions already. So in this 1 hour session, right? It could be even lesser because I make it 1 hour so that we have time to interact, right? There'll be more time for us to ask questions. But if you don't ask questions, then it will be less than 1 hour. Okay, so the entire session here is to go through the 4 questions, right? And to show you how to draw out the problem, right? Without thinking hard, right? Of course, we have to think. But when we don't have model drawing, what happens is it's very hard to solve. You have to think about the steps. But once you can draw the model, it's actually easier, right? Easier to work out the steps. So I will go through the process, okay, the approach. All right, when model drawing, there is an approach, right? It's not just vague. It's not a vague method. So when you apply this method, you are actually going through a process. So the first step is to read the whole question, and then after that, what do you do? And then you will think about what method you can use. And if you choose model, then we will go into the process. Okay, so let's read the question and look out for clues, because the clues will tell you what is the method that you can use. So Sammy and Ali. Okay, let me use black color. Sammy and Ali had equal number of marbles at first. So when I see the word at first, that is a clue to tell me that there's a before and after problem. So when it's a before and after problem, I can have before and after model. So they had equal number of marbles at first. And then what happened? Ali gave Sammy 408 marbles. So there is a transfer. So every time there's a transfer, what happened? The total is unchanged. Yeah. So in this before and after problem, what is unchanged? The total. The total is unchanged. And in the end, and that's the after already. So in the end, Sammy had 830 marbles. So how many marbles did Ali have in the end? And how many marbles did the 2 boys have altogether? So we have read the whole question, we understand the story, and we choose the method, which is model. So now we run through the process. We go through the process of how to draw out the problem. So to draw out the problem, you will need to draw step by step. You will need to draw sentence by sentence, one sentence at a time, from the beginning to the end. So if you look at the first sentence, Sammy and Ali had equal number of marbles at first. So before. So you're going to draw the before model, and you will need to label Sammy, Ali. Okay, you have to label the model, otherwise your model doesn't make sense. So they had equal number of marbles. So you have 2 rectangles which look the same. Right, 2 rectangles that look the same. And when you start your drawing, you always start at the beginning, okay, at the left side. Right, so you don't draw anyhow you want or anywhere you want. Your rectangles must always start at the same side. And so you've drawn the first sentence already, right? They had equal number of marbles at first. And then Ali gave Sammy 408 marbles. So I'm going to cut here, right? Maybe cut somewhere here. And this is your 408 marbles. So Ali is going to give away, but he hasn't given yet because it's still in the before model. And he's going to give to Sammy. So dotted box. So in the model drawing workshop, you will learn something called dotted box. So what is dotted box? It means that you are going to receive, but you haven't received yet, right? It's still not, it's invisible, right? So before means hasn't happened. At first, hasn't happened yet. So Ali is going to give 408 marbles to Sammy, but hasn't given yet. And Sammy is going to take 408 marbles, but he hasn't received yet. Okay, so that is your before model. So you're drawn until the second sentence already. Okay, now in the end, which is the after. So you can see that I'm actually drawing sentence by sentence. There's no solving. Okay, there's no solving. It's all about drawing out sentence by sentence. So in the end, Sammy had 830 marbles. So how do you draw the after model? Now, there's a dotted line that you will learn in the model drawing workshop. The dotted line is to show you where to draw the rectangle until. Like Sammy has more marbles in the end. So you have a dotted line, right? You draw a dotted line downwards, and Sammy's rectangle will be all the way until the dotted line. So this is very useful. The dotted line is actually very useful because why? It will tell you where to draw until. And then Ali will have less marbles. So Ali will be until the dotted line. So you can see that Ali has lesser marbles already. Okay, so that's your after model. And of course, in P3, P4, all right, this is a P3 problem. So the student is supposed to use a pencil, ruler and pencil. But of course, I'm using freehand because it's faster for me. But if you are P5 or P6, then you must try to draw freehand. All right, otherwise use a pencil and ruler so that you can always draw neat rectangles. All right, so where are we now? So we are drawn until the second last sentence already, right? So in the end, Sammy had 830 marbles. So that is the after. So this is your 830 marbles in the end. So question mark, how many marbles did Ali have in the end? So your question mark will be here. And how many marbles did the two boys have all together? So the total is unchanged, right? If you notice carefully, there's an internal transfer. So the total is unchanged, right? Yeah. Okay, so your model is done. So this is how you draw the model without solving. So you draw out sentence by sentence, which is the approach, right? How do you use the model method? You draw sentence by sentence. That is the approach. And once the whole model is done already, then you pull out the steps from the model. And a good model is something that you don't need to look at the question. You can actually solve the problem already just by looking at the model. Okay, I'm going to use a red color and show you how to pull out the steps, which is actually not very hard. Okay, now you look at the model and you can see that this box, okay, this box is the same as below, which is 408, okay, 408. Yep. And then if you look at Sammy's rectangle in the end, which is 830, right, which is this entire rectangle, that is 830, okay? And then you can find what? You can find this already, this part of the rectangle. So how do you find that part of the rectangle here? You take the whole, which is 830, we call whole. Whole means what? Whole means the entire rectangle, the value of the entire rectangle, minus parts, okay? And minus parts, okay? And you get the other parts. Okay, so I'm going to use my calculator so we can do a bit faster. So 830 minus 408 minus 408, and you get 14. So this is 14. And whatever numbers you have worked out, you need to put inside the model, right? So you have 14 over here also, right? So the box on top and the box below is the same. So you're pulling out the steps, and whatever numbers you have worked out, you put inside the model. All right. Then you look carefully, you will notice that Ali's rectangle here is the same as above, which is 14. So how many does Ali have in the end? Ali must have 14 marbles in the end. And that's your, right, that's your part A already. All right. And then part B, how many marbles did the two boys have all together? Then what do? Then you just take 830, which is Sammy plus Ali. Right, so you take 830 and you plus 14, and you will see that they have all together 844 marbles. So a good model is you don't need to look at the question because everything is all represented in the model, and then you pull out the steps from the model. So what's the approach when you do model method? You draw out the sentence, and once the entire model is done, then what's the next step? You look at the model and you draw out the steps. All right, and then use that to solve. Okay, so that is your primary 3 problem, right? The first question for today. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Okay, the next one, which is second problem, right? The second problem, and again, you can see that it can be hard, right? It can be a bit hard when we don't go by the model, right? When you try to think about how to solve, like what's the first step? Is it plus, minus? It gets hard, very complicated. So let's read the question, right? And look for clues, because in the word problem, any word problem, there are clues that you can look for. And the clues will tell you what method you can use. So the total mass of 4 packets of tea leaves and 3 packets of coffee beans is 1 kg. Each packet of coffee beans is 30 grams heavier than a packet of tea leaves. So there's a comparison model, right? Heavier than, more than is talking about comparing. So what is the mass of 1 packet of coffee beans? Now in my workshop, in the primary 3 model drawing workshop, we talk about templates. Okay, templates. There are 2 basic templates that that everyone must know, and they all have learned in schools. All the students will have understood the parcel model and the comparison model. These are the 2 basic models, or I call it the templates, because all drawing, all types of model drawing, no matter how complicated, all the models, they will be built on these 2 basic models, right? And so there's a template that we are looking at: parcel model template, comparison model templates, and there are also other templates which I will talk about in my workshop, like stack model. Right, there is a stack model. So when I say stack model, those who have attended the workshop, they will understand how does it look like. So you don't memorize how I draw, but you have a template of how it looks like, and then you build your model on the templates. So what is a stack model? Okay, let me show you. Now, the total mass of 4 packets of tea leaf, 3 packets of coffee bean is 1 kg. So if the first sentence you can't draw, then you don't draw, right? This is the guideline. So when we try to draw any sentence, we have difficulty drawing, we don't know, we jump. Jump to the next sentence, and there will be something you can draw. So 1 packet of coffee bean, okay, 1 packet of coffee bean is 30 grams heavier. So there's a longer rectangle because it's heavier than 1 packet of tea leaf. So that is shorter, right? So the packet of tea leaf is a shorter rectangle, and 30 grams heavier, right? So the coffee bean is 30 grams heavier. You can put the 30 grams inside, or you can put it outside. So it's entirely up to you. But when you put inside, what happens? Then you will notice that you have 2 boxes, or you cut, or you can see there are 2 boxes that look the same. And what do you call them? Units, right? Units. So model drawing is also about making units out of the drawing. Okay, but this is not a stack model. This is your basic model called comparison model. It's a template, right? Because when the teacher say, okay, we are going to draw a comparison model, then you must have an idea, how does it look like? It looks like this. And then stack model. What is a stack model? It means you build on top, or you can build below, like Lego. You stack up and you stack down. So there are 4 packets of tea leaves. Okay, 4 packets of tea leaves. So what do? You stack down, right? Stacking, no stacking, right? And so you have, let me use a red color. So you have 1 tea leaf, 1 packet of tea leaf, and 1 packet of tea leaf. So they are all together 4 packets now, right? And of course, you have more units. Okay, you make more units. So there are 4 units. Okay, then how about the coffee beans? There are 3 packets of coffee bean. So you stack up, right? You stack up, and it will look like this. Stack up, like a Lego, right? Like a Lego. Okay, and so primary 3, primary 4, use a ruler so that it looks neat, and then cut it to make them look the same. And then you will see that now you have 3 packets of coffee bean, right? 3 packets. Okay, so you got to label, because if you don't label, then your model doesn't make sense. So you have to label. Okay, otherwise your model doesn't really make sense, and then you can't pull out the steps. And then what do you have? Then you have the units on the left side. See, you make more units already. And then on the right side, you will have the 30 grams. Okay, so what am I doing? I am drawing out the problem. Not solving yet, right? There's no solving yet. It is just drawing out the problem, and then later pull out the steps from the model. Okay, all right, so not completely done yet, because we need to draw out all the sentences. So what is the mass of 1 packet of coffee bean? So your question mark will be here. Okay, this is a question mark. Now, is my model totally done yet? Now, if my model is not completed, or you leave out something from the model, then you find that you are stuck. You can't draw out the steps. So what is missing? Remember those sentences that you can't draw? Those sentences you can't draw, you need to go back to the sentence and add on to the model. Like the first sentence, we don't know how to draw. So can we add on to the model? The total mass is 1 kilogram. So we can put the total mass here, 1 kilogram, or change it to 1,000 grams. Okay, so that everything is all in grams, and your model is done. So that's your model. Okay, without solving, you draw the model. What is a good model? A good model has labels, numbers, question mark, arrow sign. And then you don't need to look at the question, and you just analyze the model, right? Look at the model and see what you can do with the model. You can see that there is a total. Okay, there's a total. So it means that you have to add everything inside the model. So you add up all the units, which is 7 units altogether. Add up all the 30, all right? Add up all the 30 grams, which is 30 times 3, that will be 90. Oh no, 7 unit plus 90, okay? And you will get 1,000. Okay, let me just have a quick check to see whether have we drawn the model correctly. 4 packets of tea leaves and 3 packets of coffee bean. Okay, the model is correct. Okay, the model is nothing wrong. Okay, so let's come back to our steps. So you add up everything, right? Because there's a total given to you, so you need to add everything, right? So every time there's a total, then you plus everything inside the model, and you can find what is 7 units. So what is 7 units? You take the total and you minus 90, and you get, what do you get? So what do you get? So you take 1,000 minus 90, you get 910, right? 910 grams, okay? And you can see the next step is not very hard to get. The next step is actually very easy. Like you have to find 1 unit. So you find 1 unit and you take 910 and divide by 7. So you can see without the model, what happened? You will find that it's a struggle to work out step by step. But when you have the model, the steps are quite easy to get, right? You have the first step, you do this, then the next step is quite easy to go on to the next step, and then the next step is to find 1 unit. And then once you find 1 unit, what do you do? Then you can do the next step, right? What's the next step again? Which is to look at the question mark and find the answer, which is what? Which is 1 packet of coffee bean, right? So you have 1 unit plus 30 grams. So what is 1 unit plus 30 grams? So you have 1 unit, 130, plus another 30 grams. That will give you 160 grams. Okay, let me just have a quick check, all right? Have a quick check to see whether have we done all correctly. So you have 7 unit plus 30 plus, okay, add up everything in the model, 7 unit. Let me use a black color. 7 unit plus 90 equal 1,000, right? Then your 7 unit, so you have to find 7 unit. How do you get 7 unit? You take 1,000 minus 90 and you get 910. And then you find 1 unit. So you have 910 divided by 7 to get 1 unit, which is 130 grams. So once you get 1 unit, which is 130 grams, you can find the question mark, which is 1 unit plus 30. Right, to find the question mark. So the mass of 1 packet of coffee bean is 160 grams. And that's how you solve. Okay, that's how you solve. Okay, so it's not really very hard. But without the model, you can find that it's really hard to solve if you don't have the model. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay, so for those of you who have not been drawing the model and you're trying to squeeze your brain to try to solve, and for those of you who have done it but get the answer wrong, and because you didn't use the model, now you can see that why it's important, why it's so effective to draw the model compared with not using the model. All right, so I encourage you, if you get it wrong because you didn't draw the model, try to draw the model, right? And you will find that even if you get the answer wrong, you'll find that you will still get the steps correct. Yeah, you find that it's easier to put the steps out. Right, without thinking very, very hard. Okay, let's look at a primary 4 problem. All right, these are all like primary 3 problems. So we look at a primary 4 problem, and okay, let me just hang on for a while. Let me just check something first, just to make sure everything is good. Okay, and okay, let me see. 4 packets of coffee bean. Okay, all right. So let's go to the next one. Okay, the next one. Okay, now Danielle bought 12 similar wallets. Okay, and 12 similar wallets and 4 similar bags. So immediately, I have an idea, right? An idea that, okay, I maybe can use a stack model, right? The stack model, we can stack up 12 wallets and 4 bags. So something quite similar to what we draw just now. Okay, but sometimes it may not be so, right? It may not be like that. You have to read the whole question first, and then every problem has different kinds of model drawing. So you don't reproduce the same model on different kinds of problem, right? Some students, they take a model, right? They use a particular model that they have learned somewhere, and then they reproduce it. They use it for different kinds of problem, and that is a problem, right? That's a danger, right? Every problem will give you a different kind of model, right? No one model is the same as the other, right? Every question has different model, right? Different kinds of model that you can see. So if you look at how I draw this model, you find that it's a bit different. Even though there's a stack model inside, but it looks different from the previous one. So Daniel bought 12 wallets and 4 bags. Each bag costs as much as 3 wallets. So students have difficulty, right? You may have difficulty trying to draw this sentence. Model drawing is creativity, right? There is a lot of creative when you draw model. So how do you have this creativity? You have to keep drawing to develop the creativity. So once you stop drawing or you don't draw, you find that you don't know how to draw out this second sentence. All right, I'll show you that later. Now the bag costs $16 more than the wallet, and that is your comparison, right? Comparison model. What is the cost, or what was the cost of one bag, and how much did he spend altogether? Okay, so what are the clues that tell us that we can draw model? Clues like more than, right? More than is a whole number. This is a whole number problem, right? So usually model drawing can use for problems that are whole numbers. And you see as much as. What do you mean by as much as? Now the word as much as means what? Same, equal. So usually in primary 3 and primary 4, the most common method is model drawing. So if you don't know what method to use in primary 3, primary 4, you don't know how to solve, the first method you always think about is model. So let's draw the model. So the first sentence I can't draw, I jump to the next sentence. One bag costs as much. So I draw a rectangle, which is the cost of one bag, costs as much as 3 wallets. And I draw the same rectangle, which is equal, right? Because as much as means equal. So one bag is the same as 3 wallets. So I cut this rectangle into 3 wallets. Yeah. And you realize that you can also do one. You can actually cut the bag into 3 units also, right? You can cut the bag. So one bag costs 3 units, and one wallet must be 1 unit. Okay, 1 wallet. So there are 3 wallets, so there'll be 3 units. Yeah, okay. And then your stack model. Daniel bought 12 wallets. So what do? 12 wallets. So you stack down. There are already 3 wallets already. So you cut another 3 more rows. And now you have 12 wallets. So 3 wallets, 3, and another 3 wallets. So altogether, there are 12 wallets already. And then what do? And then all the boxes here, you call them units. Okay, all the boxes. So there are 12 wallets. And then how about the bags? There are 4 bags, right? Daniel bought 4 bags. Then you stack up like a Lego, stack up and cut into 3 rows, 3 more rows. And then you got to label, right? So you have how many? 4 bags. Okay, 4 bags. So 1 bag, second bag, and third bag, and 4 bags. And model drawing is about making units. Okay, making units. So when you have units there, so can I make some more units from the model? Yes, I can. Cut some more units. So now you can see that every bag costs 3 units. So your model is getting clearer and clearer, and there's no solving. Okay, there's no solving. Yeah. Okay, now go to the next sentence. The bag costs $16 more than the wallet. So where do I put the $16 more than the wallet? Now, if you notice carefully, where are the bags? Where is the cost of one bag? One bag is here. This is the cost of one bag. And it costs $16 more than 1 wallet. So 1 wallet is over here. This is 1 wallet. All right, or let me use a thicker, okay, a thicker color, thicker line. This is the cost of 1 bag, which is 3 units. And this is the cost of 1 wallet. So how much more is 1 bag than 1 wallet? How much more? So that how much more will be over here. So this is your how much more, which is $16 more. And that is 2 units more. Okay, so creativity. So when you draw a model, it's about creativity, right? So everybody all draw differently. So when I draw like that, you may draw differently, but it's still the same, right? So in the end, if you draw a good model, you should still get the answer. Okay, now, what was the cost of one bag? So question mark. So where do you put your question mark? So your question mark will be over here. Okay, my model is a bit too big. Okay, that's your first question mark. And how much did he spend all together? And that is your second question mark. And your model is done. Okay, so what is the idea? What is the whole idea of model drawing? Is to draw the entire problem. Okay, draw the entire problem. And then once you draw the entire problem, then what you do? Then you study the model. Okay, study the model, and then you pull out the steps. Okay, so how do you pull out the steps? You can see that 2 units is equal to $16 more. Okay, 2 units. Then next step, no need to think very hard, is to find 1 unit. So your 1 unit will be 16, and then you divide by 2. So your 1 unit will be $8. And then what's the next step? So if you look carefully, how much is one bag? One bag costs 3 units. So you can see the next step is not hard to think, right? It's quite easy to work out the next step. So you find how much is one bag. So 8 times 3. So one bag costs $24. Okay? And then how much did he spend all together? Then you add up all the units. So if you count all the units carefully, there is a total of 24 units. All right, so the whole model is made of 24 units. And how much is that? So that will be 24 times $8, and you will get $192. So he spent $192 altogether. So that is your model. Okay, without looking at the question. So how do you know whether you have drawn a good model? You take your model and pass it to somebody else, and can the person use the model to draw this to get the answer? If the person can, then your model is very clear. That's how you measure your model, whether your model is clear or not clear. All right. Okay, so let's go to the next question. So this entire lesson is on P3 and P4. So in the next live session, we'll be going to P4, right? But we'll be looking at fractions. Okay, fractions. So that'll be something else already. But in today's lesson, we just look at whole numbers. All right, how to draw problems with whole numbers. Okay, now let's go to the next question. Okay, now again, you can see that it may be very hard to solve, right? If you don't think of your methods, right? If you rely on your own strength, on your own intelligence, own capability, it's a struggle. Okay, so what is the method that we can use for this problem? Okay, so let's highlight. There are 629 pupils in school A, 890 pupils in school B, and the number of boys in both schools is the same. And then we start to get confused already. So given that the number of girls in school B is 4 times the girls in school A, so what is the total number of boys in both schools? Okay, now it's a bit hard, right? It looks a bit hard to work out, especially for a weak student. So what do we do? Okay, we have read the story already. We understand the story. So what method? Is it assumption? Is it systematic listing? It's model, of course, it's model. But why model? Because 4 times, all right? 4 times, more than, less than, all these are clues to tell you that you can draw model. And also the universal rule is what? If I don't know how to do, I don't know what method to use, then what is the universal guideline? Can I draw model? Right? Can I use model to solve? Right? Because model is the most common method, right? To solve many problems. Okay, so let's draw the sentence. If the first sentence, can we draw the first sentence? There are 629 pupils in school A. All right, so let's draw a rectangle. And then school B will be longer, right? 890 pupils in school B, something like this. Again, you want to make sure that your model you draw your model at the same side. Okay, means your model is starting on the same side, not anywhere else. Okay, now where do you put 629? You can put inside, you can put outside. But if you are not sure how to draw, okay, you are not sure how to really draw the model, then you may want to put the numbers outside so that you can keep the inside of the rectangle clean. And then whatever, then you can find that you can cut the rectangle if you want. You can put numbers inside later on. So it's very empty for you to do what you want. But once you put 629 inside, then you find that if you put the number inside, what happened? You find that you can't do anything already, right? The rectangle is taken up by the space, taken up by the number, so you cannot cut it. So if you don't know how to draw the entire model, you're not sure how to draw, then a good idea is to put the number outside. Okay, so that you have a clean rectangle on the inside. And the 890 pupils in school B will be also outside. So you draw the first sentence already. Yep. So that's how you draw the first sentence. And then how about the next sentence? The boys in both schools is the same. Now the word the same, in my model drawing workshop, okay, there's something called equal concept. So every time you see something equal, there is a dotted line that you need to draw to show that something is equal or something is the same. So the boys in school A is the same as the boys in school B, right? Or the boys in both schools is the same. So if you notice carefully, I draw a dotted line. So the rectangle or the red box until the dotted line are equal, are the same, all right? Same number of boys in each school. And then where are the girls? The girls will be on the right side. Okay, these are the girls on the right side. Okay, so this is how you analyze your model. When you draw your model, you have to draw with you have to draw with logic. Okay, logic and label. Okay, label your model. All right. Okay, now, so where are we now? So we are until here already. So given that the girls in school B is 4 times, so you look at school B and the girls is the green color box. So if you cut into 4 times, what happened? You find that the girls in school A is 1 time, which is 1 long box, 1 big box. It's not proportional. So do we need to erase and draw again? Well, we don't need to do that. Okay, we don't have to erase and draw again. What we can do is we can just put 4 units. Okay, 4 times. And the girls in school A is 1 time. Yeah, this is how you draw. This is how you reduce your time to erase. Okay, so your model drawing doesn't have to be perfect. Some students, they want to be perfect. They want their model to be so perfect, and then they keep erasing, keep drawing, and they become so frustrated. No, we don't have to do that, right? As long as you label clearly, right, you can still solve the problem. Okay, so where are we now? We are until here. So find the total number of boys in both schools. So where's the question mark? Here and plus them together, because you're supposed to find the total number of boys in both schools. Yep, and your model is done. Okay, so at any point until now, did I try to solve the problem? So I did not try to solve the problem. I tried to draw out the problem. And then once you have drawn out the problem, then you look at the model and you pull the steps out. So if I cannot plus, like what do you mean cannot plus? Like in the earlier problem, there was a total given, right? But in this model, there's no total. So we cannot plus. So if you cannot plus, then you minus, right? You find the difference. So what difference do you find? You compare the units and you can find the difference. So there's a difference of 3 units. Yeah. And then you look at the whole numbers. And what's the difference in the whole numbers? You take 890, right, the longer rectangle, or school B, right, school B minus school A, and you get the difference. So 890 minus 629, there is a difference of 261, which is 3 units. Okay, 3 units. And then the next step, you have to think very hard, because if your model is clear and whatever numbers you have found, you put in the model, then you should be able to get the next step. So your 3 unit is equal to 216. And then what's the next step? Without thinking very hard, is to find 1 unit. So you take 216 and then you divide by 3 to get 1 unit. And you will get 87. So your 1 unit is 87. So the objective of model drawing is actually also to what? To find 1 unit. Okay, once you can find 1 unit, you can actually solve the problem using that 1 unit. Like, can you find how many boys in school A? Yes, I can. So your 1 unit is how many? Your 1 unit is 87. Over here, 87. So can I find how many boys in school A? So I take 629 minus 87. Yeah, Okay, so 629 minus 87, and I get 542 boys. So over here, this is my 542 boys in school A. And isn't the boys in school B also the same, right? There is an equal number of boys in both schools. So you take 542 plus or times, all right, times 2, and you get the total boys. And you will get how many? You will get 1,084 boys in both schools. Okay, and that's how you pull out the steps to get the answer. So those who have done your problem, your drawing. So did you manage to get the answers? And if you have gotten the answers through your model drawing, then it's well done, right? It's well done. But if you never use a model, never draw a model, but you still get the answers correct, it's still well done, all right? But those who get it wrong because you didn't draw the model, all right, or because you don't know how to do, and you also never use the model, then you may want to think about drawing out the sentence the next time. Okay, yeah. So we come to the end of these 4 problems, and so any questions? All right, because it's supposed to be 1 hour, right? 1 hour is for asking of questions for me to answer you, because many parents ask me about whether can I teach them personally, can I have tuition classes for them, for your children? But because of my time limitations, so I'm unable to teach everybody, right? Unable to conduct lessons, group lessons, private lessons for everyone. So the best way I can do is, or I can think of, is to go online. Okay, to go online and show you, right? Show you how to draw model, and then you learn the model drawing, and then you use it when you do your homework, right? Use it when you try to solve problems. So even though I'm not there, but you understand what I'm doing, and then you apply what you learn, and that's how you can still do well in the exam without me having to come and teach you, right? Personally, without me having to come and stand beside you. Actually, there's no need, right? You just have to come online, look at how I draw, understand how I draw, and then do the same thing in your problem solving. Right? Okay, so this is the first live session, right? The first live session on the power of model drawing. So I will be making this a weekly thing, all right? A weekly thing, but I may need to change the day. I may want to change the day because it's Wednesday, right? Now, why do I want to change the day? Because there are also good tutors outside, right? There are also good tutors who are also conducting very good lessons online. All right, you have the good science lessons that they are doing. They will teach you about heuristics of science. There are also good math tutors out there who are also teaching heuristics. So I do not want to come into conflicts with them, right? Because I don't want you to have a tough time to go for which lesson. Which lessons should you join? So I will come back to our post. Right? I will post the day, right? The day. It could be a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, but it'll be a weekly 1 hour session. All right. And in this 1 hour session, what do I do? I'll be talking about the methods. Okay, the methods, but they are not workshops. Okay, these are not workshops. These are all about general lessons on how to use the method to solve. If you really want to know how to really draw model, all right, how to draw model and how to really use the other methods, how to really fully understand the other methods, then you will need to come for the workshop. But otherwise, this 1 hour lesson is just a general guide, a general outline for you to understand. All right, understand a bit of model drawing, and then use it for your problem solving. Okay, so just remember that this is not a workshop. It's like a lesson, a mini lesson. All right, to guide you, to let you do first, and then later I will run through the answers, run through the process of solving. Okay, all right. So any questions? All right. All right, it's very quiet, and okay, there's no questions. All right, so okay, so we will end the lesson, we will end the live session, and so we will continue next week, and I will tell you what day is that, and then I will look forward. I look forward to see you, and just to let you know that when you come online, it is focused Zoom. It means that only I can see you. All right, no one else can see you, so you don't have to off your video. You don't have to be shy or whatever, because only I can see your video. Of course, you can see me lah, but I can see you, and no one else can see you because it's a focused Zoom. Okay, so I encourage you to turn on the video so that it's more interactive, right? More interactive, and I can really see by looking at your face, I can see whether are you lost or are you confused. Otherwise, I don't know whether you understand, right? So usually when I teach my students, I always like to look at the faces, that I can see whether do I need to explain again or I can move on. Okay, all right. So so if there's no questions, then we will end the live session, and I will see you on the next week. I will tell you what day is that. So stay tuned to my Facebook. Wait for the day to be announced. All right. Okay. So see you next lesson, next live session. All right. Goodbye.